Hi to all. Am I audible? Audible? Okay. Then let us start. In today's class, this will be a general introduction of geography. Okay. I am not going to go in detail, but first of all, you should introduce yourself to the syllabus of geography, right? Because in geography, there are a lot of topics which are from other subjects or other topics as well. Okay, like there is a part of economic geography, there is part of human geography, right, and physical geography, right. So in UPSC syllabus, the syllabus is very indicative in nature. Okay, it is written as what is it? What is it? There. Features of India and world. Features, yeah. So what do you mean by features? Characteristics that you can perceive, hai? So features means physical. Features are physical in nature, right? Sometimes they are physical, sometimes they are economic, they are human, right? So geography is a mixture of physical, human, and economic part, right? So UPSC asks questions from physical side, from economic side, from human side, right, and from ecological side as well. That part will be covered under environment and ecology, right? So we will start from physical part, then move on to human and economic part, right? And if you see the physical geography can be divided into two parts: world and India, right? If this is physical geography, world and India, there has been a trend that the theories and models which you study in world geography, in world physical geography, they are applied in Indian geography. Okay. For example, like you study plate tectonics. There is a topic in physical world geography, plate tectonics. And you can apply this topic in India regarding Himalayan orogeny, like rise of the Himalayas. Okay, how Himalayas were formed, how Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate. Okay, and other features or other physical features came into existence. Right? Yeah. Yeah, please go. So, physical geography, it is very simple. Physical geography is very, very simple. Okay, what you can see, what you can perceive is physical in nature, right? So we will start from here, world physical geography, and apply these concepts in India, with respect to India. So this will be our strategy, our model of study, right? Because it will not be boring in that way. Okay, you will develop some interest in geography. My motive will be to orient you towards the subject. Okay, so now we'll start from world physical. So world physical, please make these flow diagrams. Okay, they will help you to revise this class. So world physical geography consists of geomorphology, climatology, oceanography and biogeography. Right? These 4 parts. And all the parts are aligned with each other. Means they can be integrated. Like under geomorphology, you see that there is a formation of mountain. Okay. A wind flows and rides over the mountain. Okay. And if it has moisture, rainfall will occur. Okay. So from here, you are here. That rainfall, when it goes into the oceanic areas, it becomes ocean. Okay. Again, they become cloud, water become cloud. This is the whole hydrological cycle, right? And biogeography is what? Means all the living beings, all the plants, animals, bacteria, which are found in land, in air, or in water. These are 3 spheres. This is the land sphere, this is the atmosphere, this is hydrosphere. This is called lithosphere, right? The technical word is lithosphere. This is atmosphere. This is hydrosphere. And this is biosphere, that you call biosphere. Understandable? Okay. So these 4 spheres, what is physical geography? The study of these 4 spheres, right? You study about lithosphere, you study about atmosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. Okay, simple. So our syllabus covers all these topics: geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, and biogeography. Okay, now I will show you a list. Right. So this is for you, so as to with pen. Okay, thanks. So this is our geomorphology, right? They will be the topics that we will cover under geomorphology. Okay. These 4 topics under geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, and biogeography, we are going to discuss these topics under geomorphology, and each and every topic is integrated with each other. Okay. This is the beauty of geography, you can say, that topics are integrated with each other. Like this is like a flow, origin of the earth and earth's interior. Before the origin of the earth, we can discuss the origin of the universe as well. You know, the Big Bang. Okay. So starting with the Big Bang theory and Laplace nebular theory, Laplace nebular hypothesis. There is a scientist named Laplace. He gave nebular hypothesis regarding the origin of the earth, right? Who gave Big Bang? No single scientist can be associated with the Big Bang. Yeah. Yeah, actually, there were many scientists and many geographers and even a priest, even a Catholic priest, who gave this Big Bang theory regarding the origin of the universe. Starting with Lemaitre, George Lemaitre. Okay, George Lemaitre gave the concept. George Lemaitre was a Belgian priest. He was a Catholic priest who gave the concept of Big Bang. Okay, so a religious person gives a scientific idea. This is the beauty. Okay, further, other scientists like Hubble. Edwin Hubble was the key person who first gave the idea, or you can say the evidence about the Big Bang. Edwin Hubble. What he was doing? He was seeing the night sky through his telescope, and he saw a red shift in few of the galaxies. He observed that why a galaxy is going towards the redder side means its wavelength is increasing. What it shows, if you are from science background, you can easily comprehend that when any body goes farther from us, its emitting light will be shifted towards the red side. Its wavelength will increase. So Big Bang is also called the expanding universe concept. Okay, expanding universe. How you can say that universe is expanding? If galaxies are going apart from each other, then you can say that universe is expanding, right? So Edwin Hubble gave the evidence in a way through his red shift. You can note down. There will be many terms, and terminology is the favorite topic of UPSC, especially prelims. They ask some new terms. Okay. So in these topics, we will come across some new terms. So your duty is to write down the term and write a simple definition that I am going to tell you, and you can also do some research afterwards. Okay. But here you have to learn the concept and the terminology. Okay. Because UPSC is focusing on those terms, on new terms. Each and every year, a new concept is okay. So origin of the Earth, and before it, origin of the universe through Big Bang. Then Earth's interior, we will go deeper into the Earth, its layers, crust, mantle, and core. Earth is divided basically into 3 layers: crust, mantle, and core. Sial, Sima, and Nephe. Okay, nickel and iron. Right? Yeah. Then endogenetic forces and landforms. What are endogenetic forces, or endogenic or endogenetic? Whatever you can say. Okay. Forces which are coming inside the Earth. Where from they are coming? What is their source of energy? Right. Core.
And solidification of the material which is inside and the rotation of that due to that.
Why the material is melting there?
Due to high pressure inside, as we go in, the pressure increases.
Only the high pressure, or some other processes are also?
And gravity force also.
Gravitation, yeah. Gravitation is
the first reason.
One reason, and other reasons are radioactive decay. There is radioactive material in the core and mantle part of the Earth. Okay, even in the crust. Okay, but the radioactive material is in high amount in the core part, and there is occurring a radioactive decay. Okay, and our core is still active. Our planet is active. There are some planets, some celestial bodies which are dead. Means their core is dead. What do you mean by a dead core or an active core?
No endogenic forces applied on the planet. No, like.
Yeah, there is no radioactivity, no radioactive decay in the core part, and no emission of new energy. Our planet has still the new sources of energy which are coming from inside the Earth, and it is making newer and newer landforms. Okay, like you know that Himalayas are still rising. Means still there is some force, some energy which are coming outside. Means our planet is active. So what are the scientists which are doing research in extraterrestrial life? What they search for?
Existence of any kind of is there any form of chance to exist there also? Like,
first of all, they research for those celestial bodies which have active core. There is their starting point of research. Okay, active A planet or a satellite should have an active core first to have any chances of life there, right? When Earth's core will become dead after lakhs or a few million years, there might be a chance that there will be no life on Earth. Okay, so these volcanic fissure eruptions, volcanic eruptions, these Earth movements, they are necessary for life on Earth. They keep on recycling the things, like which have become dead.
Decompose.
Yeah, they are decomposed. They go deeper into the Earth. Again, they are metamorphosed into some other forms, and they come out through volcanic eruptions. Okay, do you know that when on the initial Earth, there was some water or some air? Was it there?
Like there was
Where from this water came?
due to heating up and cooling of the atmosphere.
Where from this water came?
Like long back, that was too warm.
Almost all the water and atmosphere came out of the volcanic eruptions, because the initial Earth was so hot and in molten state. There were millions of volcanic eruptions on whole of the Earth, and the material which was inside the Earth, yeah, that came out of those volcanoes in the form of vapor, in the form of gases. When vapor cooled down, it became water. Okay, still vapor and gases come out of the volcanoes, and the same process was occurring that time, right? So endogenic forces, they have their sources inside the Earth: radioactive decay, gravity, and all that. And when they come out, when these forces push the crust of the Earth, they make some new landforms, initial landforms, like a plateau, like a mountain, like a valley, like a plain, right? So initial landforms are the result of endogenic forces, right? Then a landform, when a landform comes out, there is always a tendency of the outside forces like wind, like water, like glacier, like sea waves. They start to break it. They start to break it, to erode it. Means then exogenic forces come into play, right? There is always a tendency, if a part of the Earth's crust is protruded in the form of a plateau, a mountain, the exogenic forces, they come into play. They start to erode it, to break it, and again the broken material will be filled in some basin areas. Okay, so there is a tendency of peneplanation. In geography, there is a word peneplain, almost a plane. Peneplain, yeah, you can write down this term, P-E-N-E, plane. Peneplain. Okay, so peneplain means almost a plane, and this is an ideal concept. This concept is ideal in nature, because in Earth's condition, when there is an active core, there are no chances that a plane will exist for a longer time. You can say, because if a plane has been made, if active forces, active outside forces have broken down any mountain like Aravallis, you can say that Aravallis were very high mountains like Himalayas, okay, in millions years ago, but now they are tabulated. So exogenic forces have won their war. Means there is a tug of war between inside forces and outside forces. You can say there is a tug of war, and any landform on Earth's plane, Earth's crust, is a result of that battle between endo and exo. If a mountain is rising, that means endogenic forces are in winning stage. You can say they are defeating the exogenic forces, and when they will cease, when endogenic forces will cease, the exogenic forces, yeah, they means it is not that when they are working, they are not working. Actually, they are working even then, but they are not at much active. that they, because if Himalayas are rising, there are some forces which are breaking the Himalayas also. Okay, like Himalayan rivers, they are eroding the Himalayas. By the time Himalayas were rising, you know that Himalayas have gorges. Gorges are an indication that Himalayas are still rising. That is an evidence of the young fold mountain. In any young fold mountain, you can see the gorges. What is the feature of gorges? A gorge. Yeah, actually there is a difference between a valley and gorge. Valley is almost V-shaped and gorge is I-shaped, or you can say H-shaped. Means there, yeah, there means here the shape is like this, here the shape is like this. Like the mountain has been cut through a knife. Understood? Like the mountain has been cut through a knife. The river has acted like a knife. When the mountain was rising, like Himalayas were rising, the sources of rivers were beyond on the other side of Himalayas. Means they were flowing. Like you can imagine that there is a knife. There is a knife. It is doing its job. This knife is like a river. And there is a paper which is rising through this knife. There will be a cut, straight cut, not a V-type cut. Understood? So that straight cut is the result of that. The knife was not going inside, but the paper was coming outside. The paper was rising and they were doing their job. Means they were trying to maintain their courses as before. This is called antecedent drainage. In geography, this is called antecedent. Antecedent means the region where a river is flowing is older than that. Antecedent means the region where a river is flowing is older than that region. You know that almost all the Himalayan rivers are older than Himalayas. That is why they are known as antecedent drainage. So here you can see that this geomorphology, this theory can be applied in Indian geography as well. If you have understood this part, you can understand Himalayan orogeny and Himalayan drainage in a better way, right? So there are landforms because of these endogenic forces. Move on to next topic, rocks. What are rocks? Today we will have a thorough discussion of geography, the general understanding of geography, so that you can develop a keen interest in this subject. Okay, otherwise this will become a dry subject. Okay, I think almost all of you from science background or humanities? Commerce. Okay, you are from science. Okay, and some other students from science. Okay, so if you have a flavor of science, you will understand geography in a better way. If you are from humanities, then you have to develop that flavor. Okay, like there will be pressure, there will be temperature, gravity, all the science concepts are applied here. Yeah, basic concepts. Means they need just a general understanding or general interest. Okay. So what are rocks?
They are formed due to the outcome of lava, volcanic eruptions.
Yeah.
Cooling of those.
Rock is, you can say, solid part of Earth's, you can say that you call lithosphere. Solid upper part is rocks. They are of three types. Igneous means those are the primary rocks. Igneous rocks are primary rocks. They were formed out of volcanic eruptions. Even today they are being formed out of volcanoes. So in the initial Earth, the first and foremost rocks were igneous. Igneous means ignis. This word comes from ignis. Ignis means fire. The fire coming out of volcanoes. Lava. Lava looks like a fire. Okay, like fire is flowing. So the word ignis came into existence, igneous. And after the solidification and sedimentation, breaking apart of their sediments, and then again lithification, again when they were lithified into a different type of rock, that becomes a sedimentary rock, simply a sedimentary rock. If there occurs an immense pressure and immense temperature caused change, a major change, metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the word showing a major change. In English, metamorphosis means a major change, a larger change. Okay, so if an immense pressure or immense temperature conditions are applied, a rock can be metamorphosed, a rock can be changed in a major way, and it becomes a metamorphic rock. Okay, like shale becomes slate, means a type of rock changes into another type of rocks. When we will discuss this topic, we will go into a deeper details. Okay, so rocks are the upper solid part that you can see. So geomorphology, what do you mean by geomorphology?
Changing, morph means changing.
Geomorphology means geo means land, morph means form, and logy means a systematic study. When you do a systematic study of landforms, it is called geomorphology. Okay, so here we are studying just the landforms under geomorphology. Under climatology, we do the systematic study of climate and weather, general climate conditions and weather. Under oceanography, we study about oceanic features, oceanic like currents, like tides. Yeah, okay, and like salinity of the oceans, right? Like temperature of the oceans. So in geomorphology, largely we will be studying about the landforms and how are they formed, how are they balanced. Then come to this topic, isostasy. Okay, as of now, UPSC, I think, has never asked any question from this topic. But this year or the next year, it can ask a good question from this topic, isostasy. Because when anything is happening again and again, like you are feeling shaking of the earth, that you call earthquakes now and again, this becomes relevant. And any relevant topic, UPSC can always ask a question from that. Okay, so this topic has now become relevant as we are, I think, even in this week, there was an earthquake in Afghanistan region, and you felt some tremors here in Delhi. You didn't?
They told, but we didn't.
Okay. I think you were on the ground.
We are class.
So this topic is becoming very relevant now. Isostasy. Anybody of you has any idea about this topic? Haven't heard even? Okay. Then let me explain. We'll go into detail later on. So isostasy is the word that denotes that when any landform is made, how will it balance itself on the semi-molten mantle? Mantle is in liquid, you can say in semi-liquid state. Semi-liquid, molten material, and sometimes it is also called plastic state. Plastic state. Okay. So if mantle is in semi-molten form, or you can say it is in semi-liquid form, you know it now. Crust is in solid form, mantle semi-solid or semi-liquid, and outer core is liquid and inner core is solid. They are the state of matter there. Okay, so outer core is liquid, inner core is solid. We will discuss later on that why it is happening. Why is it happening? That outer core is liquid and inner core is solid. Though temperature is higher there. In the inner part, in the inner core, temperature is higher. Even then it is solid. We'll discuss it. Okay. Come to this isostasy part. So Himalayas, you can say they are the part of lithosphere. They are solid upper part. And Himalayas, when they are rising, they will have to sink into the mantle part so as to balance, so as to maintain the balance. If any iceberg is growing in size, you can imagine. You can imagine the mantle like the ocean and the Himalayas like that iceberg, which is floating on that ocean. If iceberg is increasing in size, will it not go deeper into the ocean to balance or to float according to the law of flotation? If it will grow in size, it will go deeper to float. This is the law of flotation. Okay. In the same manner, if Himalayas are rising, as per this theory, their root is going deeper and deeper so as to balance. Just this. You have to understand just this theory in that way. Isostasy means how the landforms are balancing themselves in the semi-molten mantle. Or you can say they can also balance with another landform. Like there is a mountain, and just beside the mountain there is a plateau. Just beside the plateau there is a plain. So all the landforms are balancing with one another as well. As per this theory, as per this mechanism, you can say isostatic equilibrium. They are in isostatic equilibrium. There are two things. A mountain has formed that you study under plate tectonics. Plate tectonics. So a mountain is formed because of the tectonic forces. What are tectonic forces? They are covered under endogenic forces. Endogenic forces can be of sudden nature or slow nature. Okay, endogenic forces can come into play in two ways. They will be forcing the Earth's upper part in slow manner, by and by. The energy or the force is working, okay, and forming a mountain, for example. Or like in Himalayas, in Himalayan area, you can say that Indian plate is pushing towards Eurasian plate, and that energy is being accumulated. And whenever that accumulated energy released in within seconds, within minutes, that you call the sudden force, the earthquake, for example, or the landslide. Okay, so the sudden forces are also the result of slow forces. You cannot divide those two things. Got it? So the sudden release of energy that you call earthquake is the result of the accumulation of the energy, or you can say that stored energy. That was the result of the slow pushing of the Indian plate towards the Eurasian plate that is being accumulated, because the Himalayan rocks are elastic. They are elastic. Okay. The mantle part is in plastic state, and the lithosphere part is in solid or elastic state. Actually, the rocks are elastic in nature. They can be folded. They can be folded up to an extent. After that, they will break apart. Okay, elasticity has its limits. When its limits are reached, the rock will be broken. On that part that you call fault. There is a term like fold. Fold means a rock is being folded. Like in Himalayas, you can see many folds. But in some of the areas, you can see many faults even. Means where from the rocks elasticity limits have been reached, means forces have been applied beyond those limits, the rocks have broken apart from there. And there you can see some faults as well. So In a young fold mountain, you can see many folds and faults, both. UPSC confuses with the options. One, like there could be a question asked. A young fold mountain has the following features: 1, fold; 2, fault; 3, gorges; 4, U-shaped valleys; 5, V-shaped valleys. Then codes. You have seen such type of questions. Then 1, 2, 3, A, B, 2, 3, 4, C, 1 and 3, like this. Okay. So if you have the conceptual clarity, you will easily do it. Okay. Otherwise, you will be confused that Himalayas are folded mountains, and there could be no faults, because faults are in block mountains. You can be confused. Okay. So folds, faults, gorges, all are the features of young fold mountains. Got it? So isostasy, you have understood? Isostasy means, then come to this topic, exogenetic forces. I've already discussed that if any landform is protruded, exogenic forces come into play and they start to carve it in another way. Like in Himalayan areas, you can see many type of valleys, U-shaped valleys carved by glaciers. Glaciers make U-shaped valleys, and rivers make V-shaped valleys in Himalayan areas or in fold mountain areas. Rivers also make I-shaped gorges. I-shaped gorges. If they are antecedent, there is a condition. A river can make gorge if it is antecedent. Antecedent, you have understood? Means
The origin of river is
that is older than the Himalayan orogeny. Orogeny means rising of the mountain, right? Likewise, in plain areas, a river can make meanders. That is also a landform. That is also a landform. Landform are basically of 3 types.
meander that is formed by bending of
Yeah.
river.
Bending of river in plain areas. In plain areas, they are also a good notch. Actually, meandering like rivers are also formed in. They are also, you can see them in upper part. You can also see them in upper areas, in hilly areas. They meander like this, aren't they? Okay, but that meander is not called meander. The meandering path is called meander in the flood zone. In the middle of the river. Okay, they are called meanders. Technically, they are called meanders. Okay, we'll discuss it in detail under this topic. So these rivers, winds, the landforms that winds make, like deserts, like sand dunes. Okay, have you been to Rajasthan even? In Thar? You are from Rajasthan? Okay. So you can see many type of sand dunes there in Jaisalmer, Badmer, and all the Thar desert area. Okay, so they are small landforms. Largest landforms are on the earth. Largest landforms are continents and oceanic basins. They are first order landforms. They are the largest landforms. Like you can be asked to classify the landforms. So landforms are of 3 types. First order is your continents and oceanic basins like Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. They are called technically basins. Okay. So second order landforms are these large mountains and plains like Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, plateaus. Okay. Plain like Great Indian Plain. They are second order landforms. And third order landforms are the smallest landforms, like these valleys, like these sand dunes, like these different type of valleys. Okay, like these beaches. Beaches also on coastal areas. Okay, so they are third order landforms, means the smallest. They are smallest in size, largest to smallest, right? So plate tectonics is the next topic, and this is the most important topic in geomorphology part, because if you have understood plate tectonics, you can explain the volcanic eruptions and the earthquakes and the formation of These mountains, especially these fold mountains. This was the mystery. This was a mystery, the biggest mystery, how these large, immense size landforms like Himalayas, like Andes were formed. Till the plate tectonics was not there. Because geomorphologists, they were researching on those things, that how in Earth's condition, how these immense sediments can be folded into this height, like Himalayas and Andes. Okay, so this was a mystery. So after the plate tectonics, this mystery has been resolved. Means on a single stroke, plate tectonics solves the problems of volcanoes, earthquakes, and fold mountains in a single stroke. And the same question has been asked in UPSC mains. How plate tectonics has resolved the problem of volcanoes, earthquakes, and fold mountains. So here you can integrate these topics in plate tectonics. We'll go in detail in plate tectonics. Okay, there is a single theory in, yeah, this is also isostasis is small theory, and the detailed theory is plate tectonics. If you have understood plate tectonics, then all the topics are very much simple. Okay, so after it, so you understood these topics in detail and integration, that is important. Okay, now come to this part, oceanography. After the continental part, I have asked you that the first order landforms are continents and the oceanic basins. Okay, when the earth was formed, they were the first and the largest landforms on earth. All other landforms were carved later on. So in basin areas, some of the areas were they were taller in height, and they were called technically continents, and some were deeper. Those were called ocean basins, right? So in oceanography, we study about the oceanic floor, and that you can understand through plate tectonics, how these oceanic floors were formed, how these oceanic basins were formed. Like you have studied that there was no Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean in the initial Earth. Okay, there is a mid-Atlantic ridge. There is a S-shaped mid-Atlantic ridge in the Atlantic Ocean part. Okay, and through plate tectonics, we know that North America and Europe were, yeah, they were got separated, and the South America and Africa, yeah. So in older times, they were connected. There was no Atlantic Ocean between them. Then a rift becomes, rift means, what is rift? A large crack, you can say, a large crack, large sized crack. In Earth's condition, if a large sized crack happens, and that is the result of faulting, folding and faulting. These two terms you should understand. Folding means when a rock is being folded because of the endogenetic forces, and when its elasticity limits are reached, then occurs a fault. Okay, so in older times means there was an active plate boundary in this region. Okay, so there occurs a rift, a greater rift, and this is known as mid-Atlantic rift. Then the oceanic floor comes into existence by and by as these areas were going apart. Okay, so oceanic floor or oceanic basin, how is it originated, can be understood under plate tectonics, right? So bottom topography of the oceans, this is the first topic. How the basin areas, how the bottom or this area, how are they formed? What is the topography? This is also a technical term. Topography means ups and downs. In simple terms, topography means ups and downs. You can see topography in continental areas, like you can see mountains, plateau, plains there, valleys there. This is general topography. And in oceanic basins or in oceanic bottom, you can see also there valleys, trenches, right? Mountains. There are mountains as well. Volcanic mountains are there. Okay. So the general bottom topography of the oceans, then temperature and salinity of the oceanic areas, they are filled with water. So what is the general pattern of the temperature and salinity there? And that results the origin of oceanic currents. Oceanic currents, how are they originated? Because of the general temperature and salinity differences, largely. If there is a difference between density of water in that part and that part of the ocean, there will be an origin of the current. Yeah, that is another thing. Means first there should be an origin of the current. Then its nature can be warm or cool, right? So oceanic currents, to understand about the oceanic currents, we'll have to develop the understanding of this part. They are connected. Okay. Then in oceanic areas, you can see coral reefs and coral bleaching. This is an environmental problem. Okay. So this will be discussed in geography, in ecology, in both parts. Okay. Coral bleaching and tides. UPSC has asked questions from each and every topic. So you cannot ignore any topic. UPSC has asked a question on tides as well. Okay. You have general understanding about the tides. Yeah, because of the gravitational pulling of the moon and sun. Okay. There is a rise and fall of the water in the oceanic areas okay. So ebb and flow, you can say. Tides is the ebb and flow. Okay. So after oceanography, climatology. Climatology means now we have covered the land part. Okay. Continental and oceanic basin both are covered. Now rise to the air, atmospheric part. Okay. Because we come across weather and climatic situations. Okay. Means in geography, we study about all the phenomena that affects us, that is affecting us. Okay. So Earth's atmosphere is divided into many concentric layers. Troposphere, mesosphere, stratosphere, ionosphere, right? So we will study about the Earth's concentric layers, Earth's atmospheric layers. Then heat budget of the Earth, how solar radiation and extraterrestrial radiation, they are balanced. Ideally, there should be a balance in heat budget. Means whatever amount is energy is coming inside the Earth, it should reflect back into the space. Okay, but whether is it happening? Yeah. So what is the result of this imbalance? Heating of our Earth. That is known as global warming. Okay. So global warming is a phenomena, means that you can say is antithesis of this heat budget. Okay. Heat budget means ideal conditions on Earth, but that never happens. If heat budget has been working in ideal conditions, has you been there? Has life been existed there? Because that for life, some warmth, some warming of the temperature is required. Okay, when Earth was super cooled, there was no chance of life on that Earth. When carbon dioxide came into play, when carbon dioxide concentration increased in that atmospheric conditions, then began the chances of life on Earth. Because that carbon dioxide, what it is doing today, was active in that way, means it was blanketing the Earth's atmosphere and increasing the heat of the Earth by its greenhouse effect. You know that it is a greenhouse gas. So in the initial Earth, when there was an increase in the general concentration of carbon dioxide and other gases as well, like methane, Okay. Yeah, water vapor as well. Water vapor is also a greenhouse gas. Okay, that increases the general temperature of the earth. So then generated the conditions of life on earth. So it is also necessary, means general warming of the earth is also necessary for our existence. Understood? So heat budget, after that pressure belts and winds, you know that there are some pressure belts in atmosphere. Okay, we'll go in details like what type of pressure belts are there: low pressure, high pressure, low pressure, high pressure. Low pressure belt is in the equatorial area. Okay, then again high, then again, yeah, on subtropical regions, high pressure, then again low pressure, and then high pressure on polar areas. Okay, so alternately. And with these pressure belts, winds are generated. If there is a high pressure here and there is low pressure here, there will be generation of a wind, you know, from high pressure to low pressure to transfer the pressure to balance it. So winds and their types, like local winds, there are some general winds, okay, permanent winds, and there are some seasonal winds, local winds. Okay, we will study these types and distribution of precipitation. Under climate, we study about these types, means about the winds, about the precipitation, rainfall, how is it happening, what types of rainfall are there. You have studied the orographic rainfall caused by the mountains, okay, orographic rainfall and cyclonic rainfall, or it is also called frontal rainfall because of the fronts. We'll discuss in detail frontal rainfall, okay. And in a tropical rainfall, what type of rainfall is there?
Land and water both. Land and water both.
Yeah, cyclones can be formed on land and water both. Okay, but what types of cyclones? Tropical or temperate?
Tropical cyclones.
Tropical cyclones, when they
from water to land.
Yeah, and when they come into the land region, they dissipate. Okay, so they can be formed only in oceanic areas, only in water areas. Tropical cyclone. Temperate cyclone can be formed over water and land both. Okay, there is a difference. Okay. Yeah. So there is a system of nomenclature of naming the tropical cyclones. Okay, that is another topic. Yeah. Okay. So we will discuss the types of precipitation and the pattern of precipitation in different parts of the earth, right? Then jet streams and air masses. Jet streams, where are they flowing? In the tropopause region. In the tropopause region. Okay, means at the height of around 12 to 16 kilometer, you can find some jet streams. So jet streams are also important because they have a role in Indian monsoon as well. Okay, so here also you can integrate this with the Indian geography. Like, so cyclones, they are of two types: tropical and temperate. They are also called extratropical. Temperate cyclones are called extratropical. Then world climatic types. Each and every year, UPSC asks a question from this part: world climatic types. At least one question is asked. They write a paragraph, or you can say a feature of a general region, and then they give four options, like whether it is Mediterranean climate, it is savanna type climate, or it is a general prairie type climate. Okay, you have seen those questions. Now I will discuss those questions as well. What type of questions are being asked from these topics? Okay, so world climatic types. Now come to biogeography part. It is very simple, and a few topics are being asked from this part. Genesis of soil and soil profile. How soils are being formed. Means word soil types. We will study about word soil types, and under geography of India, Indian soil types. Okay, how soil is formed. And soil profile means it's different layers, the top layer to bottom layer. Okay. So under biogeography, we study about soil and vegetation, only two things. and wildlife also. Okay, because soil has some small organisms. Because of those small organisms, it is covered under biogeography. Otherwise, it would have been discussed under geomorphology. Because soil is formed not only with rocks, but some organic materials is also has some contribution in the formation of soil. So it is studied under biogeography. Okay, you know, the organic material in the soil. Okay, that has a special role in the general fertility of the soil. Why we study geography? What is the need of studying this? So as to enhance the quality of life here, you can say. Okay, because you need crops for your existence. Okay, yeah, you need resources for your industries. Okay, so here from very recent times, there is a trend that we are focusing more on human and economic part and environmental part as well, more than that of the general physical part. But to understand the about the economic or human part, you should have a general understanding of the physical part. Because if you have the idea about the rock types, you can assess that what types of minerals can be found in a particular region. Okay, if you have a general understanding about the rocks, you can assess that what types of soils will be formed out of that region. Got it? So wildlife, generally this topic, wildlife and forest and soil, they will be covered under your ecology part. Okay, here I will discuss the types and how are they conserved, how forests are being conserved, how soil is being conserved. Okay, what is the conservation condition of wildlife, that will be covered under environment part. Okay, so that is how they are integrated. Now come to geography of India. So after the world geography, we will discuss, and they will go parallel, you can say, because they are integrated. Like you have studied about the rocks and the types of rocks, you can better understand the geological structure of India, because it is just rock types and their nomenclature. Dharwad, Kadapa, Vindhyan, those type of rocks, they are not different from metamorphic or igneous. Generally, the basic type of rocks are there. Okay, there is only a nomenclature difference, that some of the rocks are called Dharwad rocks in India, because in many regions of India, the same types of rocks there are there, and they have the same features. They have been named Dharwad type. Okay, like Kadapa type. Okay, you know Kadapa? Kadapa. From your region? Kadapa. But that is Kadapa. Okay, in geography. So Dharwad in Karnataka and Kadapa in Andhra and Telangana region, right? So those rock types, or you can say geological structure, will be covered under this topic. Geomorphic divisions of India, largely we can divide the whole of India into 5 parts. Okay, northern Himalayan part, northern mountainous part, that you can say. Southern peninsular part, yeah, peninsular plateau region, and in between these two parts there is a northern plains part formed by Himalayan rivers largely. Okay, and Rajasthan plain is also the part of this Great Indian Plain. Okay, Rajasthan plain as well, yeah, and the plain of Brahmaputra as well. Okay, in northeastern part, right? And apart from these 3 regions, there is a region like coastal regions, hai na? Eastern and western coastal region, right? And the 5th part is in news today, island part, yeah, your Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar. Okay, so these 5 parts is the 5 major general divisions of India. Okay, Within these 5 parts, you will study about smaller regions. Like in peninsular region, there are many plateau regions. Like in Himalayan region, there are many ranges, Himalayan ranges, known from different names, like Karakoram, Ladakh, Jaskar, Pir Panjal, and Greater Himalayas in Himalayan region. Okay, like in peninsular part, you have Telangana plateau, you have Dandakaranya plateau in Bastar region. Okay, you have in Jharkhand region, you have Chota Nagpur plateau, right? Even in peninsular part, you have 2 mountain ranges, Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, great mountain ranges, like, and some other hills also. Yeah. So we will study, means they are microzonations. They are micro regions. Means because UPSC now has a trend of asking from micro regions, asking questions from micro regions. You have gone through those questions. Okay. Here there are matching questions like hills. Here 3 hills are named, and here 3 regions are named, and match those regions with those features, right? So to tackle such type of questions, we'll discuss this part. And drainage of India means the Himalayan regions and the southern regions. Okay, the Himalayan region, there are Himalayan drainage system, largely Ganges in Indo-Gangetic region. They are the Gangetic rivers like Ganges and Yamuna and different tributaries of Ganges. Okay, and in northeastern region, Brahmaputra and Indus. So it is called Indo-Gangetic plain, covering 3 Himalayan regions: Indus River, Ganges River, means Ganga River, and Brahmaputra River and their tributaries. In southern drainage, Godavari, Narmada, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi, and some other smaller rivers. Okay, and their tributaries. They are the very, very important topics for UPSC Prelims, because you have gone through many questions asked from river part. Every year they are asking. Okay, so we will go into detail. Okay, climate of India, that is monsoonal climate. You know, India has monsoonal climate. Okay, yeah. So we will go into detail in this topic, monsoon, and we'll understand the modern theory that is related with jet stream. That is called jet stream theory of monsoons. Okay. Then soils of India. There are 8 types of soils in India. ICAR gives the classification of the soils of India, 8 types of soils. Okay. If anybody asks you how many types of soils are there in India, 8 types of soils. Okay. Indian forest types, how many types of forests are there in India? 16 types of forests. Factual information. I am giving some factual information. Okay. 16 types. We will discuss in detail all the 16 types of forests. Okay. They are accepted divisions. You cannot say that in some book, sir, ये तो ऐसा लिखा हुआ है, कि there is written only 12 types of forests or only 6 types of soils. But the accepted textbooks, which are recognized by Government of India, you can see that 8 types of soils and 16 types of, and in some standard books you can see. Okay. Then wildlife of India, you will discuss this topic in detail in ecology. Okay, under the conservation topic. All the national forests and sanctuaries, okay, they have some special animal species and plant species for conservation. Okay, you will go in detail. Then the last topic is economic geography of the world and India. Okay, agriculture, distribution of key natural resources across the world, including South Asia and Indian subcontinent, and factors of location of industries in world, including India. Okay, generally this is written in the UPSC notification. So agriculture means what types of crop patterns are there in world and in India. Okay, in agriculture, you will study about the general crop patterns found in the world and India. To understand this thing, you should have first the understanding about the soil conditions and the climatic conditions in that particular region. Got it? So if you have studied climatology and biogeography in a good way, you will better understand this topic. Okay, agriculture. Largely, you should know that what are the climatic conditions for a particular crop. There are two requirements for a particular crop: temperature, humidity, and apart from that, soil. Okay, temperature and humidity are covered under climate and soil. Means there are climatic factors and edaphic factors. Edaphics related to soil. Okay, any crop is affected by two factors: climatic and edaphic. Okay, even natural vegetation, any natural vegetation or forest is also affected by these two factors: climatic and edaphic. Okay, so basically plant species need a particular type of climate and soil, okay, in which they can grow. After that, distribution of key natural resources across the world, including especially South Asia and Indian subcontinent. So for this, you should have the understanding about the rocks, nature of rocks there, what types of rocks are there, and there you can see the general conditions there, general lithological conditions there. What type of lithology are there? Under geomorphology, you study about the lithosphere. The upper solid part of sphere is called lithosphere, and below it, asthenosphere. This is the modern division under the plate tectonics. What is the division? Lithosphere, asthenosphere, and mesosphere. Then core part is called baryosphere. Okay, that was older division: crust, mantle, and core. Now it is of no use. No use means it has no relevance. After the plate tectonics, we have the new division of this type: lithosphere, asthenosphere. Asthenosphere is generally the part of the mantle, that plastic part of mantle. Okay, the upper solid part of mantle is covered under lithosphere. Lithosphere is crust plus upper solid part of mantle. Okay, and the lower plastic part of mantle is covered under asthenosphere, on which those lithospheric plates can move. Okay, like Indian plate is moving over the asthenosphere part.
Plastic part is like liquid, semi-liquid.
Yeah, like semi-liquid, or you can say semi-molten or semi-solid. If something is semi-liquid, then half part is semi-solid. Okay, so for this to understand, you should know about those things. Okay, so here we will study about that a particular mineral is found in which region, a particular type of resource is found in which part of the world or in India. We will study in an integrated way, not under Indian geography or under world geography. Okay, like we are studying that iron resources in the world. So iron is found in this region of the world, and in India in this region. Okay, so largely you will better understand this part through the maps. Okay, so we will cover this topic with maps. Then you will release this topic. Okay. Factors of location of industries in the world. Largely this part is more important for mains, because UPSC has never asked any question in prelims from this part as of now. Okay. You have gone through some of the questions of mains from this topic. Okay. So for prelims, we will restrict ourselves from up to this topic. Okay, in economic geography part, right? So after understanding the whole syllabus of geography, how are you feeling? That whether it is very vast? Yeah, is it vast? It is very vast. But the beauty of geography is that they are integrated and scientific in manner. Yeah, you can easily comprehend the things, and you can easily link one topic with another topic. And the best part of this is that UPSC is mainly focusing on conceptual part. Very few questions are asked from factual part, and largely they are from mapping part. Okay, that there are some regions, what are their names, and they are connected with which countries, like this. Okay, so we will cover those type of questions, factual questions, and the mapping. Right. Now come to 1 second.
Introducing the Prelims Target course and Prelims test series at ProdEgyIAS. Designed for UPSC Prelims 2026, this comprehensive program offers in-depth classes on history, geography, science and tech, environment, polity and governance, and economy. Stay updated with current affairs and sharpen your skills with our Prelims test series consisting of 50 full-length tests covering all subjects along with CSAT. Join ProdEgyIAS and stay ahead.